In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a multiple PDF chat application. So we are going to use the Mistral this time, and I'm going to be showing you how you can create this in the free version of Colab, and we are going to build an application as well using Streamlit. All right, so I'll walk you through the architecture. All right, so as you can see, we are going to extract a PDF, and we are going to upload a PDF and extract data from the PDF. We're going to split them into chunks, and we are going to, so for the embedding, we are going to use the sentence transformers from Faiss. So we are going to convert the text, each of the text chunk into numbers, and we are going to store them into knowledge base. All right, and so for the knowledge base, that is the vector store, we are going to use the Faiss as the vector store. You can use other options like the Chroma or the Python. And so when a user asks any question, it's going to go through create an embedding, and it creates an understanding of the question, and it's trying to get the answers from the knowledge base. All right, and we are going to rank each of the results. Right, so we are going to, after the ranking, we pass it to the LLM. So for this use case, we are going to use the Mistral-7B-Instruct, and we are going to pass on the answers to the user. Okay, so what we are going to need is, already I have videos that shows you how to download the Mistral-7B-Instruct. All right, real quickly, I'm going to attach the link in the description below. You can grab that. So I will quickly show you how to do that. When you go to your files right here, and you get into, you can download each of them, any of the 7B-Instruct, depending on your memory. All right, so for this use case, you can go to download, and you hit, and it's going to download that. All right. Okay, so I already have my Mistral 7B-Instruct that is being downloaded and stored in my drive. All right, as you can see here, I have it here in my drive. Okay, I've created a folder and I name it model, and I'm storing that here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we need to install Langchain Touch, Sentence Transformers, the Faiss CPU, the Hugging Face Hub, the PyPDF, and accelerate the Llama CPP. We're going to load the model from there, and we need to also install the transformers. All right, from Hugging Face. All right, so I've run that, and it's being installed. It takes a couple of seconds to run. Okay, so the next thing is, what I'm doing here is importing Langchain .chain. We import the retrieval keyway to create our question and answer chain, so that when we can pass in, the user pass in the query, it's going to sort out and get the answers. And we import the Langchain.embeddings. We import the Hugging Face embeddings. That is going to create the embeddings for the text. All right, and we are going to use the sentence transformers. And the Llama CPP, we are going to load our models from there, and the recursive character text splitter. So other option to the Llama CPP, you can use the C transformers from Hugging Face. All right, and the next thing is we split the text. So we are going to use the recursive character text splitter, and the vector store is going to store we are using the Faiss to store the text. The next thing is the PyPDF directory to grab our PDF. All right, so next we load the PDF. All right, so we call the PyPDF directory loader. And as you can see, my files, PDF files are stored here, created a file, sample data, and so all that you have to do is just copy the link, and you just paste this there. So content, sample data, as you can see, stored in there. So I loader.load, I'm going to load that into a variable called data. So when I print it, it's going to print out the document, the PDF files. So next, we extract data into the text chunk. Right, so we are creating a variable called text splitter, and we're using the recursive character text splitter, and you are creating a chunk size of 10,000. You can, depending on the length of your document, and a chunk overlap of 20. All right, so the next thing is to split. We use the split document. We are splitting the document into chunks, and we are storing that into a variable called the text chunks. And when you print that, you can see it's in 23 chunks. And when I print the third chunk, as you can see, it's splitting out the page contents of the third chunk. All right, so the next thing we can do is to create an embedding, and we are using the sentence transformers from Hugging Face. So as you can see here, right, so it maps sentences, paragraph to the dimensional dense vector space. All right, so it really performs well at mapping the sentences. Okay, so let's move on. So the next thing we want to do, all right, before I forget, before you run it, we go to change run type, and you select the GPU. Okay, you select GPU and you start running it. All right, so the next thing you have to do is we create an embedding for each of the chunks, and we create a variable called the vector store, and we call in our Faiss. So for each chunks, we create embeddings for them. Okay, and now we want to connect our Google to the Google Drive so we get access to our model. Okay, so what we do is when you hit on that, it's going to connect to when you save from from Google.Colab, we import the drive, and it should mount it. Okay, so drive.mount, it means that we are mounting it to the drive, and we are grabbing, what we want to do is grab the drive here, and we get our model. Okay, we connect to, so you say drive already mounted. So when we mount it, the next thing we want to do is we want to create a model, and we are using a Llama CPP. We pass in these parameters. So content, we want to get so as you can see, content, and we get our drive. So as you can see, when you get a drive, my drive, and we go to model and the Mistral-7B. So if you want to copy the path, you just go here and you click here, and you click here, right? So you click here and you say copy path. So when you copy the path, you paste it in here, right? And the temperature is 0.75. You can change that depending on your use cases. So the higher the temperature, it means that anytime you run, the output is going to change. Okay, and we do a maximum token of 4096. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we create a chain. So we are passing in the LLM. So we are using the retrieval QA, and we want to pass the LLM. We want to pass our chain type. Okay, and we want to get the top two answers. So retrieval is equal to the vector store, because we want to get our answers from the vector store, and we want to get the top two answers as the ranking. Okay, so we ask a question, we assign that to a query. So as you can see, the documents this is a document of the statistical document. Okay, has 21 pages. Okay, so I just ask a question on that, and it's giving me answers to that. Okay, so this is an example, and also there is a PDF of Walmart CEO. Okay, it's just 2 pages sheet. All right, and I say what is a linear regression model, And it's saying a linear regression model is the statistical model for modeling the relationship between a dependent variable and one or more independent variable, commonly referred to as predictors or explanatory variable. So in this paper, the linear regression model is used as a starting point to derive estimated for the variance covariance metrics. So as you can see, it is pretty accurate. Okay, so so the next thing is we just create a conversation format. So while through we are importing the importers, so we pass a user input and we say input prompt, and we ask we put in print and exit. So if you want to exit, you just go in there and type exit, and you just continue like that. And we are passing in our chain to pass the query and the user. So I say what is statistics, and it is a statistical method used to analyze the relationship between. All right, so you can play around with this. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so let's convert this to a Streamlit application. All right, and we are looking at an outcome like this one. Okay. All right, so I'll quickly walk you through the code, and I'm going to share that in my GitHub as well. So as you can see, you have my environment created, and this is the application, and this is the requirement. Okay. Okay, so what you can do is, let me create a new terminal, and I'm going to show you to walk you through this code. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so this is the requirement. All right, so just like we saw in the Google Colab version, we import or we install these packages. And if you want to install that, we say pip install dash requirement .txt, and when you hit enter, it's going to install all the packages. Right? If you want to create an environment just like this one, you say Python dash -env. When you hit enter, it's going to create an environment just like this one. Okay, so the next thing you can do is you import the Streamlit as SD for the framework, and you import the Streamlit chat, you import the message for the conversation, the Langchain.chain, we import conversational retrieval chain to retrieve history and history. Okay, so the next thing is embedding, Hugging Face. All right, so guys, so Llama CPP, we import the recursive character text splitter, Faiss as the vector store, conversational buffer memory to store the memory, and we do the PDF loader for the PDF files, and create a temp file, and we're going to create some path, so we need the OS, the temp files to store the temporary PDF files. Okay, so we create a function, we call it initialize session state, and we are using history generated in the past. So if this is not in a session state, we should give an empty list. If it is not in the generated, that is the one that is giving us the answers. If it was the session state, it should print something like hello, ask me anything. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So as you can see, right, so as you can see, we have hey, ask me anything about. So as you can see in the code, so if generated is not in the section state, it should write there's nothing printed in the section state. So you say hello, ask me about anything. Okay, so if passed not in the section state, it should say hey, and you give away something like that. All right, so as you can see here, there's nothing being printed out, so it's giving this like a conversational format. All right, so the next thing is we create a function, we call, say, conversational chat, we pass our query, that's the user's question, and we pass our chain, and we pass our history. So we create a variable called results, and within our chain, we pass the query, that's the question, from the user and the chat history. And we want to append the question and the answers we want to append into the history. Okay, so as you can see, anytime you run, you can see we have our question, that is the generated one, and the one from the user, we just being appended as the history to the history. Okay, and now we want to return our answer. All right, so the next thing is we create a display chat history. Okay, where we're going to display our chat history, and we pass the chain, and we create two containers, so one for the reply container, one for the normal container. And so with the general container, we say we pass in the form, and when the user hit on the form, we should clear out the answers from that, and we create a user input, and so that within the user input, we create a text box, and we say question, and we are going to pass a placeholder that we say ask about your PDF. All right, so as you can see here, this is what I mean. All right, if create an input box, and you say ask about your PDF, and you say question. All right, so as you can see here, exactly what is going on. And when you hit on the submit button, we are going to name it, call the label, we're going to say send. All right, this is what you can see here. So when you hit on this one, it's going to go say send. All right, so next, so if the user submits and hit on the submit button, it should be spinning and giving out an output. All right, and within the output, we are passing the conversation chat. We are passing the input from the user, our chain, and we are passing the section state history. And also, we want to append the user input. We want to append it to the past conversation. We want to append the output to the generated. So that's the one. We want to append the output from the answers that is being generated. We want to append that to the generated. Okay. So the user input is going to be the past conversation, and the output is going to be the one that is being generated. All right. All right. So if the section state has a generated output, we create a container. We're going to say for I in which iterate through the generated conversation from the chatbot, and we are going to say create a message for the past and the generated. All right, so we are going to one from the user. We are just going to give some emojis. So as you can see, we have emoji for the user, and the one is the chat generated. So what is the CEO format? The CEO format is .macmillan, and I'm saying, so these are two questions from each of the document. And I like the way it's giving out the response. It looks accurate. Okay. All right. So let me show you the next one. We create an LLM. So we create a function. We call it create conversational chain. We pass our vector store, and we are saying that we want to create our model like the one we did in the Colab version. We pass the parameters in there, and we create a memory. Within the memory, we say conversational buffer memory. We pass the memory key is equal to the chat history, and we want to return the messages in there. So we say true, and we create a chain, conversational retrieval chain to retrieve our conversation, question and answer. We pass the LLM stuff. We pass a vector store as the retrieval, and we want to get the top two answers. Okay, and we pass the memory in there, and we want to return the chain. So the next thing we do is we create initialize the section state. So we create a function called the main when we pass our section state. Okay, so as you can see, this is the section state right here that we created. We pass it in there. Okay. All right. So we create a title, multiple PDF chatbots using the Mistral-7B. We put something like books. So as you can see, showing up here, we create something like books, multiple PDF chatbot. All right. And the next thing we do is we put a sidebar title document processing. As you can see, document processing is being placed in the sidebar. So if uploaded files, we create a variable called uploaded files in the file uploader in Streamlit. We say upload files, and we are accepting multiple files to be got to true because we want to upload multiple files. And if uploaded file, so if we have uploaded a file, what should happen? We are going to iterate through the files and we create an extension. So extension, we split the file name from the extension and we create a temp file and we are passing, we are calling it temp file. Okay, it's temporary file and we want to write the content of the file and we want to read it and write it in a temp file and we create a path for the temp file. Okay, and we give it a name. And what we want to do is we initialize a loader. So loader is equal to none. Nothing has been loaded. So if the extension, file extension is a .pdf, we are going to load it using the PDF loader. We load it from the temp file and we place it into the loader. So if the loader, so after loading it, we are going to say loader.load. We are going to extend that to the text. We're going to pass it into the text, store everything to the text, and we are going to remove the temp file path. So now we split it and we say recursive character text splitter using the chunk size of 10,000 and the overlap of 20. So we split that into text chunks, we pass it to the text chunks, and we are doing that on a CPU. So we are saying device equal to CPU using create embeddings and a Faiss as the vector store. All right, so we create a text chunk and embeddings, and we pass. Finally, we create a chain object. We pass the vector store into the create conversational chain, and we want to call our function display chat history. We are passing this chain in here, and finally, we make sure it runs. So we are using the main in here, this function to run it. All right. So this will be the, if you want to run this, we are saying Streamlit run app.py and you run it. Okay. Right. So this is how you load it. So the Mistral-7B-Instruct model, you load it from the Hugging Face like we just talked about. Okay, so when you run it, it should open up something like this and you can start asking your questions. All right, so I say, who is the CEO of Walmart? And the CEO of Walmart is Todd McMillan. What is linear regression model? And it's saying that linear regression model is that kind of tool used in data analysis and econometrics modeling to study the relationship between independent variable. Well, okay, yeah, I think I like this. So guys, this is the end of the video. Do well to play around with it, and yeah, I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and share. And I'm going to attach all the details in the description so you can grab it. All right. Do well to subscribe and share, like, comment, and see you in the next one.